Alright guys, welcome back. As I say, what we're going to look at today is Key Knowledge 3 and Area Study 1, Unit 2, which is the social control theory of deviance. So we're looking at the meaning of deviance, the meaning of concepts of norms, social control, and in particular Hirschi's theory. So basically, I'll go to the PowerPoint. Alright. So what basically social control theory is basically stating that from time to time individuals really have to fight the urge to do something wrong. So it could be swearing, littering, crossing the road at the wrong point in time. Social control theories of deviance focus really upon people avoiding deviant behaviour. So not necessarily always why we do participate in deviant behaviour, but why we don't do it actually more often. Usually it's because we're encouraged to conform by influential people in our lives. Teachers, parents, religious leaders, uncles, aunties, whatever it actually might, role models, essentially. So the theory, social control theory, stresses that there is a need for people to conform to social norms, and this is actually achieved through social control. So really that authority figure, and what happens if you don't have those particular authority figures in your life, that's what social control theory really looks at. It's so there's always a balance, so deviancy really occurs when there's an imbalance between self-control and social control. So direct, as you can imagine. Rewards for conformity. Good job, well done, you did the right thing, here, have something. Punishment, that wasn't what you were supposed to do, here, detention, smack on the bottom, going to prison, whatever level of deviancy, whatever type of deviant acts we're talking about. It's direct type of control. Indirect, so you've got a desire to please others, so you don't want to make others feel disappointed in you, so therefore you conform. So that's an indirect form of control. The odd look from someone, the glare, that type of thing, that's a form of social control, which you guys experience on a daily basis, I'm sure. Then you have an internal type of control. You either feel guilt because you've made to feel guilt as a result of your actions, therefore that prevents deviancy occurring from in the future. You're socialised into that as a young person, and you continue to be socialised because through your interaction with others to avoid feeling guilt as a result of your actions, therefore you conform to whatever the social norms are of that particular society. So you look at the broken window theory in particular. So when people perceive that there's no social control or action addressing disorder in society, additional deviancy and crime occurs. The broken window theory really looks at in a condemned building. So a condemned building no one wants anymore, it's going to be knocked down, there's broken windows. If there's already broken windows and no one fixes them, you're happy to actually break a window yourself because you don't have any feeling of guilt towards it because it's already there. Everyone else is doing it, so it doesn't really matter if I do it. Think about littering in the school. If we had a massive crackdown on littering and everyone conformed to that, then if you littered, it would be a massive issue. But because there's so much litter in the yard as it is, you don't feel necessarily guilty about littering a bit more or vandalising or whatever it might be. That's what the broken window theory essentially is. So Hirschi's theory in particular. So he focused his research on why people don't commit crime. Because we've all got social control theory, we look at why people do, but also why people don't do it more often. So he argued that criminal activity occurs when an individual's attachment to society is weakened. So Hirschi really believed the best method of preventing deviance is actually through bonds with others. The stronger your bond, the stronger your attachment to society, the less you're actually likely to be deviant because you want to see your society succeed because you're on board, you're engaged. So Hirschi identified 4 factors that influence engagement with deviant behaviour. So the first one is attachment. People who feel a strong attachment to others, such as family or close friends, are less likely to be deviant. If people have weak relationships, they feel less need to actually conform to other people's or groups' norm because you don't actually care what people think. If you've got a weak relationship with others, you're not really fussed as to their opinion of you, so you're more likely to actually be deviant. Young people, for example, may show this attachment by loving, respecting their parents, making friends with their peers, liking school, working hard to develop intellectual skills. So you're on board, you're attached, you're engaged with your particular society, so therefore you're less likely to actually be deviant. Second factor, commitment. So individuals who have a sincere commitment to genuine goals are more likely to conform to society's norms. Those goals could be your job, education, financial stability, long-term relationship, what have you. Those who actually don't have that commitment to goals, who see that see the goals as unattainable, are more likely to engage in deviant behaviour. When people are more engaged, when people have these goals, they won't engage in deviant behaviour because they're committed to achieving goals which society subscribes to them. Education, financial stability, home ownership, marriage, children, whatever it might be. When those are your goals, you're less likely to be deviant. Involvement. So the more involved people are with legitimate activities, the less likely they are to deviate from appropriate behaviour. So for instance, an individual with a job, family, membership in several clubs or organisations is less likely to engage in deviant behaviour. Not only is there limited time to waste in potentially harmful activities, but it also they have a lot to lose if they actually do. So if you're involved with lots of different things, you're less likely to have the time to be involved in deviant behaviour, but you're also like, oh, okay, well, if I do get arrested or whatever, or ostracised by a particular group, then I'm going to have a lot to lose, my life that I actually like. So if you're more involved, you're less likely to actually participate in deviant behaviour. Belief. An individual who shares the same values as the dominant society, such as respect for authority, importance of hard work, they are less likely to engage in deviant behaviour. So people whose beliefs differ from the dominant are more likely to commit deviance. That makes sense, doesn't it? So for example, a person raised to believe that it is acceptable to cheat, lie and steal probably not integrate into mainstream society, as well as someone whose beliefs actually do conform to the values of the larger society. So, limitations. So Hirschi's theory does have a limitation, so that his strength was really that empirical evidence actually was used to support his position. 1,300 high school males in California were surveyed and compared their self-reported acts of deviance with a series of questions about levels of commitment, attachment, involvement, and belief. His analysis of the data found that although the acts of deviance were minor, the social bonds of attachment, commitment, and belief had significant influences preventing deviancy. Involvement had no impact. Hirschi concluded that attachment, commitment, and belief were the key to social bonds between young people and the significant others in their lives and limited the likelihood of engaging in deviant behaviour. On the flip side to that, a limitation of his theory was the exclusion of the significant influence of peers on deviancy. So other sociologists have actually said, have talked about Hirschi a lot, but they also chose different types of people to actually analyse. So like anything, it's a theory. It's one theory, but it's obviously a valid enough theory that we're learning about it here in sociology to say that attachment, commitment, involvement, and belief have a significant impact upon the bonds people build, and therefore on whether their level of deviancy as well. One thing I just wanted to go back to quickly was, if you remember these questions we looked at here, strain theory and Merton. We don't look at strain theory and Merton in particular in VCE, but remember when we talked about, we prescribe goals like material gains. It was a case of you wanted to, if you're basically told you should own a house, get married, have financial security. But what happens when we can't actually achieve those? Deviance is innovation. So what, going back to Hirschi, he really believes that, yes, but the bonds are actually what makes us not commit crime or commit deviant acts more. So he really believes it's those with strong bonds and have role models are less likely to actually participate in deviant behaviour. We still have the same goals, but we'll still keep trying to achieve them because of the bonds we actually make with others, role models, elders, and we really believe in society, we really do believe we have to do our best. Not only the goals themselves, but the legitimate ways in which we go about achieving those goals is bought into through attachment, commitment, involvement, and belief. So that's social control theory. We do some things because we conform because we feel guilty when we don't, but also if we have these 4 factors in our lives as prescribed by Hirschi. All right, so short video, 10 minutes. That should do us. Like and subscribe. As always, guys, I'll see you in class to have a chat about all this. Looking forward to it. Thank you.